I'm Jeff Paur, senior writer with RealTime Fantasy Sports, and welcome to another edition of the RealTime Fantasy Sports Show. On today's show, I'm going to be joined by Logan Glaser once again. Logan, thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Jeff.
So we're going to give you a Super Bowl preview extravaganza, I'll call it. We have all sorts of things we're going to go over. We're going to talk about over-under. We're going to talk about the lines. We're going to talk about pick'ems, DFS plays, crazy prop bets as well. Just kind of go over a little bit of everything.
Yeah, there's a lot to dive in. It's going to be a really good matchup, I believe, in the Super Bowl. Two very even teams, top teams from their conferences going at it.
Yeah, I hope it's a much better showing than the NFC Championship game, which was craziness. But like you said, I think it's a pretty good matchup.
Yeah, who would have thought a fourth-string quarterback would be coming in to save the 49ers?
Yeah, and then a guy who can't throw the ball.
Yeah, coming back.
It's craziness. I like how, did you see the video of George Kittle asked if
he could throw a left-handed?
That would have been entertaining. Mahomes could have done it. All right, let's dive into this. Let's talk about the over-under first. So it's set at 51 right now as the over-under. What do you like there?
Yeah, this is one I kind of battled back and forth, but I'm going with the over 51. These are two aggressive teams. Eagles are one of the leaders in the NFL with going for it on fourth down. They love that QB sneak with Jalen Hurts. And then also, Chiefs are a very creative team on offense, a lot of mixing matching with their play calls, and I really like going to go with the over 51.
I struggled with this one because both defenses are playing better.
They are.
And I think that extra week kind of gets them prepared better for the Super Bowl. You know, the defenses can scheme a little more, but I'm going over as well. I just think both these offenses are really explosive, and I'm not sure the defenses can contain them. The Chiefs' defense has played much better lately, but still they've been leaky at times this year. And then the Eagles, too, I just don't know who they've played. I feel like they've kind of had a soft schedule to get here, and I know that's kind of a point of contention with some Eagles fans, but I still think I'm not completely sold on that being a shutdown defense. I think it's a good defense. I'm not sure it's shutdown, and I think the Chiefs are going to be able to score some points still, so I'm going over as well.
Even throughout the regular season, it feels like the Eagles played a lot of backup quarterbacks and had a kind of easier schedule, but you can't take away.
All right, so we both like the over 51. Let's talk about the game itself. It's Eagles are actually favored by 1.5. What do you think there?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Chiefs plus 1.5 on this call. It's basically because of experience. The Chiefs have been here before. It's a veteran team. Mahomes, even though he's still young, this is going to be his third Super Bowl. Travis Kelce is considered a veteran also with that Super Bowl win. And then this is an Eagles team that most of the players haven't been here before. Their last championship 5 years ago. It's all completely new roster from then. You got Jalen Hurts making his first appearance. Hurts is also still dealing with a little bit of an injury. We might not see it, but he had that shoulder injury a couple of weeks ago, and he hasn't really thrown the ball that great since returning since then. He has no passing touchdowns so far in the in the playoffs, 340 combined yards, but they've really relied on that run game, and I think that's going to be what's going to decide this game if the Chiefs can shut down the run.
I agree with you as well on this one. I like the Chiefs plus 1.5, pretty much for the same reasons you mentioned. I think the experience factor is going to be a big one in this matchup. And also Steve Spagnuolo with the Kansas City Chiefs defensive coordinator, he really does a good job of kind of confusing the opposition, and I think that could hurt Hurts a little bit, play on words there, but I think it could damage Hurts a little bit, kind of disguising blitzes, coverages, stuff like that. I think it could end up leading to a few turnovers, and it's going to get the Chiefs to win this game. A close one. I like the score 31-28 is what's kind of in my head here.
Yeah.
So I think the Chiefs win, they cover, and I think it's a close game, though. It should be a good one, but I like the Chiefs to come out on top.
This is definitely going to be a close game. I don't think it's going to be one of those Super Bowls that we watch and it's a complete blowout one side. Both of these teams can compete, and they've shown it throughout the season and playoffs so far, coming in with the #1 seeds.
So let's dive into some pick'em stuff. You can get into that on our site. It's rtsports.com /pick'em, I believe, to get to that site. And we have all sorts of options for this week. I think it might be the most I've seen so far with the different player props that you can pick. So let's give our viewers a few options here that we like.
Yeah, tons of different player props to choose from. We're also going to be coming out with a promo, so to look at look out for that on that pick'em page. So the 2 props I'm going to go with is, and you can win ×3 your money by going 2 for 2. If you go 5 for 5, you win 20 times your entry fee, so take advantage of that. 2 I'm going to go with is Kenneth Gainwell, over 34.5 rushing plus receiving yards. He's hit this 3 straight games, and they've really been looking to Gainwell more frequently in the rushing and passing game. So I'm expecting to get around 6 to 8 carries throughout this game, and also 1 or 2 receptions. You're looking at 7 to 10 total touches on the ball, looking for 34 yards out of that. You're looking about a little over 4 yards per touch, so I'm going to be going with that. That was my first one. Second one I'm going to go with is Marquez Valdes-Scantling, over 36.5 receiving yards. 2 weeks ago against Cincinnati, he had 116 yards. It was also because some of their wide receivers were injured, so they kind of relied on him more throughout the game. But he has that home run capability of, he only needs 1 long reception for 40 yards, and he's going to hit this prop. So last week he had 2 weeks ago he had 6 receptions, so I like that over.
I was looking at that MVS one as well. I like that one. I think that's a good call. I like Gainwell too. He has double-digit carries 2 straight games.
Yeah,
he had double-digit carries all season.
Yeah,
and he hasn't been in the playoffs.
I think a little bit could have been because the last 2 games have been blowouts for them, which a little bit. But he's looked really well in both of those games.
Yep. Okay, my first one's Jerick McKinnon, under 44.5 rushing receiving yards. He had a great finish to the regular season, actually carried a lot of fantasy teams to championships. He's done very little in the playoffs. He has fewer than 4 fantasy points each of his playoff games. He has 15 carries for just 26 yards in those 2 games and just 2 receptions. That's what worries me, is lack of work in the passing game. Pacheco's done better in the passing game lately as well, had a career high in receptions last week, so maybe he gets involved a little more there. I just think McKinnon's a hard player to trust right now, and I like him under 44.5 rush receiving yards. My other pick'em I like is Devonta Smith, over 61.5 receiving yards. He's really emerged as an elite fantasy receiver this year. He's been great down the stretch as well. He had a quiet game his last time out, but he has at least 13 fantasy points, 7 of his last 8 games. Been getting a lot of looks. Chiefs secondary is not the best as well. They allowed the 8th most fantasy points to receivers during the regular season. So I think Smith goes over 61.5 receiving yards here. All right, to move on to our other game that we offer on our site for this weekend is DFS. So a lot of great game action going on there as well. So let's give our viewers a DFS.
Yeah, we also have 2 free rolls up in that DFS lobby, so take advantage of those, one under the Chiefs and one under the Eagles, so take advantage of those free rolls. So a player I'm going to be targeting in my lineups is Isaiah Pacheco at 7,200, kind of opposite of that McKinnon pick. Pacheco has looked amazing so far in the playoffs, every single run, every single touch. He's looked absolutely electric out of that backfield. Last week he had 5 receptions, 59 yards, 10 carries, only 26 yards, but the week before that he had over 90 rushing yards. So I really like him out of that backfield at that price point.
I like that. I like that call. He's one I was targeting as well. And I think you got to try to differentiate somehow and find somebody that might emerge. And so I'm kind of intrigued by Sky Moore, just $3,800 on the site. Like you mentioned earlier with MVS, so many injuries at receiver. I think Moore could get more looks this week. And he actually had a season-high 7 targets his last game. So that was the most targets he had all season. He didn't do a whole lot with those looks, but man, 7 targets is a lot of looks in that offense. If he can get an expanded role again this week, I think he's a bargain at that price. And I might take a chance on him.
Yeah, he had a couple of big first downs in that game against Cincinnati. A couple tough nitty-gritty getting over that first down to keep that offense rolling.
Yeah, definitely. So one thing I like to look at too is the crazy prop bets. So there's all sorts of things you can do. You can pick the Gatorade color, coin toss, national anthem length. I saw Rihanna's first song, what she's going to sing at the halftime show, her outfit she's going to wear as well. So I thought it'd be fun to explore one of those bets and talk about one we kind of like. So go ahead and give me your crazy prop.
Yeah, it's always fun to bet on these type of props just for the Super Bowl. It adds a little interest into it. So I'm going to go with the halftime show, under 8.5 songs. Last year it was 10, but it had 5 different artists. This year we're looking at mainly just Rihanna. So under 8.5 songs. Opening kickoff to be a touchback. They're playing in a dome, so I think that adds a little bit into the kicking. And final play of the game to be a QB kneel. Nice.
All right. You went with 3. I only have 1. So you overachieved.
Go for it. Mine's a parlay.
I like it. Yeah, you got a parlay. Good. Go for it. Go for the big one. So mine was, I saw this one. I thought it was intriguing. how many times will Tom Brady's name be mentioned during the Super Bowl? So it's only set at 1.5. I think you got to hit the over here. He played the Eagles in the Super Bowl just a few years back, so you think he's going to get mentioned there for sure. He just retired, another mention possibly, and then all the Super Bowl records. So if if somebody has a record passing, if they longest completion, most yards in the game, whatever. I mean, Brady's name's got to be on there for a lot of records as well. So I like
that. I really like that play. That might be the top play of the entire game.
I think you got to go for that. That's it. That's at minus 165, the over at 1.5. So it's not paying out a lot, but still paying out a little bit. All right, so that's our Super Bowl preview, Logan. Really enjoyed talking with you about everything going on here.
Thanks for having me on. It should be a really good game and wrap up the football season.
Yeah, craziness. We already have drafts going on for next year as well.
We've already had 5 TFCs filled. We have the best ball scouts going off, so we're having a couple drafts go off every single day. It kind of looks like Justin Jefferson's been the number 1 overall pick in the recent drafts.
And QBs are going higher as well,
QBs are going high. One draft, there is 4 quarterbacks taken in the 3rd round, which is...
It's not a surprise, though, because they scored a lot, and kind of the top guys kind of differentiated from the bottom guys, I felt like.
Yeah, there's definitely a big break-off with that.
Then Kelsey's another one that's intriguing because he's been going super high as well.
Yeah, he's been going super high. He's starting to get up there in age, but I feel like we say that every single year the past couple of years.
That's my worry about him.
He's just holding on.
His age. I just don't know if I want to. I think I saw him go 1st overall in one of them, or 2nd. He was up there really high. I just don't know if I can do that. I love the guy, great player. I like his personality.
The age just scares me, but he proves us wrong every single year.
So maybe we will dive into some of these drafts here in the coming weeks as well, since everybody's getting into them. Don't forget about baseball also. That's going off round the clock too. We have all sorts of different contests, big game contests, you name it, different styles as well. So go to rtsports.com, click on that Money League link. You can see everything we have to offer. All right. Thanks again, Logan, for joining me. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on,
Hope
Jeff.
you enjoy the Super Bowl this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. You too.
All right, everybody else, you really enjoyed that Super Bowl as well. I hope you come through on all the different bets you got going on this weekend. All right, this has been Jeff Paur with RealTime Fantasy Sports.
And this has been Logan Glaser from RealTime Fantasy Sports.
Have a great day.